Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Orange County Funding Corporation meeting for March 20th of 2024. Good to see everybody. I would like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Bill, if you would do the roll call.
Yes,
please.
Jeff Christ.
Here.
Mark Green.
Here.
Dr. Vincent Odock.
Yes.
Susan Walski.
Yes.
Giovanni Palladino.
Here.
Is Linda Muller.
Here.
Terrific. Dean Tamburi is excused absence this evening. For staff, myself, Bill Fioravanti, Kelly Riley, Marty Boras. We also have Jose Rojas doing our audio-visual. Susan Katzoff, our general counsel, of course, via Zoom, and three guests. Melissa Zott from PKF O'Connor Davies, and representing Vision Hudson Valley, we have Katie Lancelotti, who is their executive director, and Jane Samuelson, who's the board chair. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you all and welcome. I should have noted this meeting started at 5:03, 3 minutes ago, and we do have proof of notice in the packet that it was appropriately noticed. First, I'm very excited to welcome Linda Muller to the board of the Orange County Funding Corp. We're delighted to have you on board. I did get acquainted with Linda a little bit over the last few weeks, and she was recently appointed by the Orange County Legislature, and I believe you did your oath of office this morning.
I did.
Good for you. So she's official for this board as well as the Orange County IDA board. So look forward to working with you, Linda.
Thank you.
Feel free to shout with any questions and thoughts during the process of the meeting. And if you would like to say anything at this time, I welcome your comments.
Thank you. Well, it is an honor and a privilege to be part of this committee. I love Orange County. My family lives in Orange County. I've been vested here for many years, retiring after 31 years with Cornerstone Family Healthcare. So I want nothing better than our county to be strong, sustainable, that business is attracted, and that there are the right businesses to help Orange County continue to grow and be a place where people want to come, live, play, and reside. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Glad to have you on board, Linda, and look forward to working with you.
I have a little learning curve, but I'll work hard.
I've recently been going through it. I'm not done yet.
You have 12 minutes.
Okay, you ain't more 12. Oh, boy.
I'm a giver.
Thank you.
We do in our meeting packet have the minutes for February 21st Funding Court meeting. Any corrections, additions, or motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve, having read the minutes.
Okay, thank you. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Moving on to committee.
Excuse me, Chairman, might I abstain? please,
Okay.
from-
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Yep.
all right.
I'll try to remember to bring that.
If you don't, I'll.
Yeah,
I'll do
okay.
it. Thank you.
Probably won't be the last time. Committee reports, audit committee, Sue Walski, please.
Yes, we met, the audit committee met last week. We were joined by Melissa Zott of PKF O'Connor Davies, who presented our audit. Having reviewed the audit committee recommended that it be presented to the full committee for approval.
And you should review that report with us now. Please, Melissa.
Do you want me to stand up?
Yeah, please, if you would.
So you should all have a handout like this. Yes. There's two, so one for the corporation. Okay. So there's financial statements, some management letter comments, and an investment report for the IGA. What I've done is prepared a slide presentation for you, which I thought is a little bit more amenable to this meeting. Tonight, just to go over some required communications, management and those charged with governance as part of the external audit process has certain responsibilities. That includes selecting appropriate accounting policies, making sure the financial statements are presented in accordance with the United States generally accepted accounting principles. Internal controls is always very important as part of any organization, so establishing those and making sure that you're doing a periodic review. Being in compliance with all laws, regulations, and then providing all of the financial records as part of this external audit process. And I just want to thank everybody on the staff, Bill, Kelly, Marty, and Shannon. I just really appreciate your efforts on that, so thank you so much. On the next slide, as your external auditors, we also have certain responsibilities for you. We do provide an independent auditor's opinion, and we have issued an unmodified opinion that is also referred to as a clean opinion. It's the best opinion that the corporation can receive. We are required to communicate any deficiencies in internal controls to you, and then also advise you of the appropriateness of your policies. If there were any fraud or illegal acts noted during the audit, you would have been advised that prior to them, so I'm happy to report that there were none. There were no significant difficulties, no disagreements with management, no uncorrected misstatements, and then the most important is that we maintain auditor independence. So going over the numbers on slide 5, what we've done is we've provided 2023 year-end numbers and then 22 for you to compare. Looking at your overall total operating revenues, last year you had 108,000, this year you have 2,500. That was mainly due to the closing fees, as you can see that last year in 22 you did close on the Mount St. Mary's College bonds, so that was related to the closing fees last year. There were no similar closings in 2023. Your operating expenses overall came in relatively comparable to last year. You ended at 16,000 this year. So if you take your 2,500 from your revenues, less your 16,000 for your expenses, you ended in 2023 with a loss before non-operating items of 13,000. What's good is that you did have investments this year. Interest rates were higher, so your interest income, which is your investment related income, is now at 85,000. So that helped you end the year in a positive, in a surplus. So you can see the change in that position in 2023 is 71,000. So you started the year off at 1.8. You ended the year at 1.9. So the corporation is in a good position at the end of the year. On the next slide, you'll see the balance sheet items. This is going to be your assets and liabilities of the corporation. You do have cash and equivalents. As you can see, the change year over year flips between cash and investments. So this year, the corporation did have some investments in CDs, so that would be the change for that. Overall, your assets stayed approximately the same, about 77,000 higher than last year, and your liabilities are also approximate to last year. The designated line in your net position, there are 2 buckets. The designated means how much in your next year's budget are you planning on spending on project expenditures. So based on your 2024 budget related to the project expenditures, there's nothing anticipated. If you do end up budgeting in the future, you'll see that number being populated again. So again, you ended within that position of 1.9 million, so it's a very healthy net position for the corporation. If there's any questions, I can take those now.
Questions?
I have a question.
Linda?
Was there a management letter?
There was.
I'm not sure how this works, but do management letters get shared with the board?
They certainly.
I don't see them in the packet.
Yeah.
Great.
They should.
Yeah, absolutely, not a problem. So a part of the...
And also there was no material deficiencies, no reportable incidents.
Correct, yeah, so there's different levels of deficiencies. We're happy to report that there were no material weaknesses. For the corporation, actually, there were no deficiencies noted at all for the corporation. So happy to report that.
And the management level was for the corporation or the IDA?
There's 2 management letters, so we have a management letter for the corporation
Okay.
and a management letter for the IDA as well. So when we move into that, I can go.
This one was clean and had
Okay.
no recommendations or observations.
Thank you.
Okay, I just didn't see them.
I'm gonna get you a full copy.
Great. Yeah, we have
Were
the
they-
final.
Were they shared with the audit committee?
We were, so we had a really in-depth conversation. We went over the numbers in depth, the line by line of this presentation. We also provided draft copies of the financial statements, the management letter, and all copies.
Thank you.
We do have the final copies as well, if we want to get those.
Thank you, Melissa. And I might ask council, what's the best way to phrase a motion to accept the audit report?
I'm sorry, Bill, I was having a technical difficulty.
No problem, Jeff asked you a
The
question.
recommendation,
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, the recommendation came from the audit committee to the full board to accept, and so now the board would make a motion to accept the financials.
Which would be the external audit for the year.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Would anyone care to make that motion?
I'll motion it.
Motion by Susan.
I'll
By
yeah.
Giovanni. Thank you. Other discussion, questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I don't know if we need a roll call. No? Okay. Opposed?
One extension.
Abstentions?
Yes.
One abstention. So that puts us at 6 in favor, 1 abstention, I believe. Any-
5 without
Motion carried.
Dean.
Oh, Dean is absent. I forgot to take him off that count. Anything else from the audit committee? Susan?
That's all we have.
Okay, thank you for that report. We appreciate it. Finance committee, Mark Green, chairman, please.
All right. So, if you look at your packet, I'm hoping they line up. If you go to page 5, so page 5 are our budget versus actuals. Not a whole lot exciting. Total income for the, go to page, then that was based on a little bit of interest earnings and interest from the loans, the COVID loans. Next up, if you look, under expenses, you will see a new line item, management fee expense, 600,001. That, if you see that number, that's for $6,067.95. What that, in discussions with Shannon and everyone else, we had everything broken out that we made the decision OCFC was going to take over some of the expenses. However, it came to our attention that OCFC doesn't technically have any employees. So we had to. Bill. Correct. So now what we're doing is we are billing OCFC for management fees and the other 14% of the rent and other things. And that now will be in this line item.
Okay.
It is not in your packet this time, it will be next time. It will be a breakout of those fees, so you see exactly what this $6,097.95 is. It's on a 1-month delay, because the way this works is March 31st, the IDA will bill OCFC for the 14% of the items that we agreed upon, rent, salaries, what have you. And so that's how we're going to have to do this going forward. Any questions on that particular line item?
No, that was a big move to get all that stuff straightened out.
Yes, and so we continue to move forward. But again, so next month you will see the breakout of everything that will make that up.
Okay.
And you will see this exact number when we do the IDA, all right, as far as an increase there. The third thing I wanted to point out Because of that, if you go down roughly 3/4 of the way down the page, you will see the payroll expenses, employee benefits, taxes, salaries, retirement. That will be eliminated. You'll see that there's nothing in there for this month because it was incorporated under the management fee expense above, but we didn't want to just take it out, surprise, so next month this will be out.
Okay.
All right. And then I believe, the only other thing was, at the bottom, we have a net negative of $8,000 for the month based on that timing. So any questions about that right now?
No, I think it's gonna be a little wanky until we
For a month or two it will be until we kind of
get into that.
get into the comfort level of being able to see it. If there are no questions, we can certainly go back if something comes up, but if you turn to page 6, we had 2 payments. The first one, I'm gonna call it B. Holstein because I always,
Bousquet.
thank you very much. That is for our legal expenses that are expected, and then certainly RBT are our monthly payments to our accountant for the FC. Any questions about those two?
I'd like to, just because I don't think Linda and I have covered this yet. When we refer to Shannon, she is Shannon Manisi from RBT CPAs. They are essentially our external CFO.
Thank you.
So if I can refer you to page 7, our investment page. If you will notice the top line, TD Bank will mature in March 26th, so next week. So in preparation for that, what we have done, before I tell you what we have done, if you look at the next line, the JP Morgan Treasury bill, that maturity date will be the end of June. And if you look at the Lakeland investment, that maturity date will be, for lack of a better term, end of December, beginning of January. It's important because you see the staggering of the 3 months. That way you understand why we did what we did here. So we're going to take this TD Bank, and on March 26th, we will roll that over. If you want to look on your sheet for CD rates, please feel free.
Does everyone here have it?
No, we weren't, it's on our packet.
It's-
I can give it to everybody.
Yeah,
It's under
it might be
packet.
slid in with your
Separate
ID.
handout.
It's a separate
So-
handout.
If you need
Oh,
it.
yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it might be way at the bottom.
And then, yeah,
So what we will do here is, when this comes due, we will then make this a 6-month investment into the JP Morgan Treasury at roughly 5.2%. This way, that will come due in September. So we will then be on a every 3-month staggered rotation. And again, this is what we've been trying to accomplish for the last year, to get things lined up this way. And that's, I think, it. Any questions on that portion?
no, I'm good.
All right.
If I could, I'd just like to thank
Please.
both Mark and Dean Tambury and Kelly Riley, especially just working together. It's a long time coming to get to this, where we're truly laddering it, which is the strategy we were seeking. We started with not even knowing what the heck we could invest in or exactly how we could do it, and we've really gotten it in short order. And it's a lot to do with these two gentlemen on the board and Kelly as well, so thank you.
Well, on behalf of Dean, he can take 5% of that, thanks. I will take 5%. Kelly, you get 90%. Because we all know who the eye candy is and who the person is that's making it happen. So thank you. If there are no further questions on that, we'll go to page 8. Real quick, Linda, and even I'm still a little shaky on this, and I've been doing this for a while. During COVID, we were allowed to give small business loans to help people through COVID. The loans I believe, was the $476,500.
Correct. It was intended
originally?
50 at $10,000, not every one took advantage.
Were they interest rate?
2%?
2%.
I think it was, yes, 2%, no.
And so we are still in the process of kind of unwinding these and getting these down. Of the original 476,500, 379,000 has come back. Plus another, that was paid in full, then a partial of 40, just about 44,000. So total, out of the 476,500, we received back just around 423,000, or 89%. We have one loan that is making payments. But again, at the end of the day, what this was for and what the goal was, I'm really impressed that we've brought back almost 90% of this, and continue, and have people continuing to.
And it's already been written off as bad debt.
Yes.
The remainder, we may, if we collect more, we may just have to consider that recovered bad debt.
So did you wrote off 53,588?
I think what we wrote 60 off. I think we changed it for this year to, I don't recall if it was,
I don't think we changed it.
I don't think we did, right, because it was close to it, so we're gonna see where we are. But yes, the write-off amount is actually 60 right now.
Thank you.
And I believe if there are no questions, that is the presentation for finance.
Anything else for Mark Green? We good?
We could just approve those.
We
Accept those
would
reports, that's all.
like to see a motion to accept the full financial report in each of those items that Mark just reviewed, including the CD recommendation from the committee.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Giovanni, second to that motion
Second.
by Doc Oduck. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried,
6 ayes.
6.
Jeff, were there any abstentions?
Not on
No.
this one.
I just wanted to point that out, Susan, that she made it under the 12 minutes, and now she's up and running, ready to go.
That was easy to find.
Which committee is she on?
We gotta wait till she gets to the end.
Anything else for business before the OCFC? Bill? I would
Do you
suggest a
vote on
motion.
that budget modification?
Did you want to address that, what we talked about in finance, sir? Want to do that today?
I do. I thought, didn't I talk about it with, no?
You said
Wait.
that there's a budget numbers under payroll, but we're gonna do a budget modification to take those budget numbers off of there and put it under the management fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did talk about it, but I didn't say it, and we have to, you're absolutely right, we actually have to vote on that.
A separate motion.
A separate motion, that we are going to do the things that I said as far as putting the monthly management fee and having that as the line item versus, so again, Kelly, what was the proper term?
A budget modification, and it's changing the classification between two different categories.
So you're taking out the 61,000 and moving it into the 6,000 category.
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct, exactly. So,
And that was suggested by Shannon Manisi,
yes,
that we bring to the board and just get formal approval of that adjustment, since the budget that was approved was the original way before we figured out what Mark just described.
Okay.
Would anyone care to make that motion for the budget modification?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Giovanni. Motion for the budget modification, a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Susan? Any other question, comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. I believe we have 6-0 and no abstentions.
Kelly,
Thank you.
And do you
Yes.
have to motion the CD also?
that was part of the overall.
I did
You did
include
that
that in the overall. Is that okay, Sue?
Well, we
I believe it is, yes.
Okay,
changed it where the finance committee is allowed to make those decisions. I thought we had that motion in previous meetings.
without needing board confirmation.
Well, if we approve it in the finance packet, I believe once we approve what's presented to us, we don't have to have it as a separate motion.
Sue?
If I understand the question, the finance committee met, reviewed everything that Mark just reported on, and made a motion to recommend approval of that to this board.
Correct.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So this board just, in my opinion, needs to make one motion to accept the report and the recommendations from the finance committee.
Okay, thank you, Sue. And we just took care of
Should be
that.
done.
I believe we're prepared to adjourn, if anyone would care to make that motion, unless I'm forgetting something else.
I will make that motion.
Motion to adjourn by Mark, second to that motion.
A second.
Susan? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, and our OCFC meeting is concluded at 5:30 PM.